So welcome to road.cc. We're riding the brand new Cannondale Synapse today, joined by George from Cannondale. And we're going for a little ride around Dorset, taking some hills and some descents to really see what this bike's all about. So a lot of change to the bike over the last one that was launched in 2014.
Absolutely. I mean, that bike was super successful. It was ridden in Paris-Roubaix. It was a lot of people's first carbon road bike. You know, won a lot of tests. It was absolutely a brilliant bike for us.
All about extra performance over the previous model. How have they done that then? How have they increased the performance?
So there's two factors that have really gone into it. There's a drop in weight, saved around 200 grams, depending on the frame size. Over the previous one, yeah, it's absolutely loads. So it's really approaching race bike weight now. And combined with that, we've looked at the areas where the bike really needs to be stiff. So around the head tube, around the bottom bracket, and those have been increased, you know, almost to levels of Super 6 Evo, our race bike. So it's really, it's less of a compromise to be on an endurance bike now than it used to be.
Yeah, you really feel that kind of the increase in stiffness and the lower weight, can't you, in these sort of climbs?
Yeah, absolutely. And we really don't want people to be disadvantaged by having an endurance bike. Just because you want to go further or be a bit more comfy doesn't mean you should suffer in those performance attributes.
Yeah, it's got that sort of race bike, sporty feel, isn't it? So a key feature of the new Synapse is disc brakes, and it's disc brakes only, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Disc brakes throughout the range. The frame was only designed for disc brakes.
Okay.
And it's meant we can add some extra features. The frame is really asymmetrical, so that we can design the left and the right side to be completely different to deal with the different forces that discs generate.
Okay.
And just going to discs has freed us up to do that, as well as increasing the tyre clearance and actually making the rear end of the bike smoother. We've done away with the seat stay bridge, which allows the seat stays to flex more independently, makes the back end even smoother.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you think of disc brakes being like all that tyre clearance, but you've actually designed the frames to kind of be stiffer and lighter when it needs to be.
I mean, another advantage of disc brakes, you know, that we're experiencing today is that you can run really nice wheels all year round. You know, the sort of changeable conditions of today. I've got carbon rims, but I'm not having to brake on them. I've still got smooth and consistent braking from the discs. Yeah, absolutely. And you see a lot of our bikes now coming with some pretty high-end wheels, our own hologram carbon wheel set. Those are on a lot of the bikes now, and you can really run them all year round.
And we're talking through axles, flat mounts, all the current standards we're getting in road stuff at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the bike is through axle, 12mm front and rear, flat mount, like you said. But the main reason really is just to keep it in line with the standards of the day. The bike's been redesigned not to include those features, but to make it better. And it just so happened that those are the standards of the day at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not the old Synapse with some new disc brakes and bigger axles.
Yeah, there's much more than that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it looks similar to the old bike, but it rides very differently. I mean, it has that kind of Synapse feel, but it feels more direct and more responsive, feels a bit stiffer. Feels more like the Super 6, really.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're somewhat biased, obviously, but we like to think that it rides like a Super 6 when, you know, most of the time, and when you need it to be, then it's a Synapse. You know, just when it gets rough, you realise, oh, actually, this bike's really smooth.
Yeah.
We've got mudguard mounts now, hidden on the bikes we're riding, but easy to install. Works with any kind of mudguard. You can still run a 28C tyre. So yeah, it's a bike you can go right through British winter if you wanted it to.
So it's got more performance, it's lighter, stiffer, and it's got mudguard mounts. Because quite a few endurance bikes don't have mudguard mounts, do they? Even though there's clearance.
Yeah, there is.
Have mounts.
Yeah, I mean, the last Synapse didn't have mudguard mounts, and lots of people were asking for them.
Okay.
Because it was, you know, such a smooth bike that could go all year if you wanted it to. Yeah, they're a brilliant upgrade to it. And you've still got the ability, if you wanted, to run a big tyre in them, so a 28 with a mudguard or a 32 without.
So the customer for the Synapse change with the redesign, or is it still the same?
I think our core customer is still the same kind of person. You know, someone that wants to go long distances or ride rough roads, or is maybe new to cycling and doesn't want that super aggressive road bike fit. But with the redesign, we've expanded it a bit more. Those sorts of people that may be curious about some even rougher roads or a touch of gravel, 32, help them out a load. And the fact that it's more performance orientated means that you know, your more traditional faster guy who'd always thought of himself as buying a road bike, you know, pure race bike, this might be a better choice. You know, you're really not foregoing anything by choosing this bike.
They really sound like a sort of bike could do a lot more than the previous one, especially with the talking of wide tyres and the sort of gravel-esque tyre.
Yeah, I think, you know, wider tyres are coming across the whole road market, and certainly when the roads get rougher they help, but even on smooth road, you know, wide tyres great. But yeah, the performance increases, that stiffer bottom bracket and head tube, that lighter weight, mean that, yeah, the traditional road race bike customer could also really enjoy this bike and get all the benefits of the extra capability without paying the price for it.
I mean, this road we're riding on is a good example of rich road. It's quite slow, draggy surface, quite bumpy. Yeah. But the bike seems to be filtering out that sort of harshness.
Yeah. It's, you know, it's really a balance. We want to kind of insulate the rider from this rough stuff, but we don't isolate them. You know, you still want to feel your tyre in contact with the road. You still want to feel the traction. Still want that sporty feel, but you just don't want to be beaten up.
Yeah, never was that, do they?
No, absolutely not.
Obviously different paint jobs, but different specs. I've got a SRAM red ETAP, you've got Dura-Race over there.
Yep.
Are these the same frame, different group sets? What's going on with the two builds here?
You know, these are actually two different frames.
Okay.
The bike you're riding is the carbon bike. It's actually lighter than the old High Mod, our top of the range carbon bike. So that's the same frame that comes on the 105 bike, the first one in the range. You're getting a lighter frame than you would have at the top of the range last year, which is pretty cool.
Wow, that's a big improvement.
Yeah, and for that little unfair advantage, I've got the new High Mod bike. High Mod is basically a series of stiffening structures within the carbon, which means we can pull away some of the regular carbon that we use, and basically creates a bike that's very similar in handling, but saves, you know, a good amount of weight. And on these High Mod bikes, we put the best kind of kit, so that's why, you know, I've got Dura-Race and our own hologram carbon wheels. But new for this year, we've because the carbon bikes are so good and, you know, lighter than our old best bike, we've actually put some better finishing kit on them. So you'll see stuff like SRAM red, Dura-Race on our carbon bikes too, and that's where you're riding.
So that's been the Cannondale Synapse first ride. Thanks to George for taking me around some of the highlights of Dorset, a new area for me. Very nice, a nice climb, cheeky climbs, some nice descents. And it's clear all the changes that George talked us through with the new Synapse, a lighter frame, a stiffer frame, and increased tyre clearance, disc brakes, have really added up to create a more rounded package. You know, it's really comfortable, it's really responsive. It's an evolution of the previous bike rather than a kind of radical step forward. And it's retained what I liked about the previous bike, but really kind of improved it in key areas. So it is more fun to ride, I'd say. It's got some of the Super 6 Evo in it, in terms of how it responds from the climbs. And it's got a sort of racy, sporty feel. But yeah, it's more comfortable, with bigger tyres, more safe technology, disc brakes a bonus. And yeah, around it's a really compelling package. There's lots of choice in the endurance bike market now, and if you're looking for a new endurance bike, you should make sure the Synapse on your list. It's definitely up there with the best of them at the moment. So that's been Synapse first ride. Thanks to George for.
No problem.
And there'll be a full review on the road.cc website very soon. Thanks for watching.